Romeo Santos is here, man. It's Apple Music Beats 1. The king of bachata in the building. What's up, big?
What's going on? What's going on?
Yo, I'm
man?
gonna throw on some bachata today and show my 1, 2, 3 kick on that. Big, my is mean. How are you?
I'm good, man.
We are broadcasting in over 100 countries, so I want to let you know that right now. And you, sir, have single-handedly put a genre of music on your back. You're from New York City, from
Yes,
the
sir.
BX, from the Bronx. Yeah. I mean, when you was in Aventura, how old were you at that time?
I started in Aventura at the age of 17.
Right, so y'all was teenagers. And let me tell y'all something. Around here in New York City, that had the city on lock. Like, they had murals in the LES, the BX, Queens, Brooklyn. Like, if you was a girl that spoke Spanish or English or had family from any island like that, they was a shit. And then fast forward, here we are, Golden, this is your third solo.
Yes, sir.
You just took down Despacito with your, how do you pronounce it? Imitador.
Imitadora.
And what does that mean?
Imitator.
Imitator.
Yeah.
So you taking shots at people? Yeah.
No, not at all. This is a record that I'm talking to a girl that I've been in a relationship with for a while, but she's acting different, you know, so I feel like I'm dealing with a stranger. So I kind of begin the song telling her, like, tonight I'm gonna interrogate you. I have a few questions. Where was the first time I made love to you?
Ooh.
Give me the number of the hotel.
Ooh.
Give me details, because there's no way you're the original one. And if you all answer these questions.
Is she kissing different? Because you know sometimes you go to kiss your love and you be like, yo, you kissing different?
She's just a complete different female, so.
You gave an instant grad up there for people who pre-order, how do you say this? Hero favorito?
Héroe favorito. Favorite hero. And it's just like song where like, a dude is just telling a girl, like, I'm gonna protect you, but you know, he uses like superheroes to kind of describe what he wants to do in her life. Like, I want to be Hulk so that I can have the strength and protect you from your, from people trying to hurt you. I want to be Superman and just fly you to the moon. You know, like.
Yo, I know girls you date when you try to say nice shit to them. I know they be like, yo, if you don't shut the up with that Romeo Santos pimp shit.
I could tell you, honestly speaking, I don't really speak to women the way I do in my records.
Really?
Yeah, I think it would just be corny.
Girls all think they're your girlfriend, though. Like, every girl I know that likes a Romeo is like, nah, that's my boo, that's my bae. I don't want to hear nothing else. Is that part of keeping the personal life private? Is that you want people to have that experience?
Absolutely. You know, and one thing I could tell you is, like, I don't really live a secretive life. Like, if you see me somewhere, you see me with a lady, like, I'm not going to really deny anything. But
Yeah.
I just don't like to really bring my personal life into, like, my professionalism. It's just, I think that women have this, and I don't mean in general, because some women and a lot of women don't personally care about me, you know, but the ones that do, they don't really want to be hearing all that, like, who's my girl?
Nah.
And plus, when you really open that little window on your personal life, you can't complain when the media goes in and starts just giving every little detail about your personal life. I've seen a lot of relationships being destroyed because of that, so I'd rather just keep it 100% private.
I mean, you've been doing this for a long time, but I'm sure a kid from the Bronx that's singing music that's very important to the culture, like bachata is, I'm sure, to your family and to the island of Dominican Republic and all of that. How important is for them to see you carrying this torch like this for the music?
I mean, my family are my first fans, you know, they're very proud. And I don't know if you know, but I'm half Puerto Rican as well. So when I go to Puerto Rico, it's like, you know, they're my #1 promoters, you know. They telling the whole entire island, my nephew, he's going to come do a show, you know. Same thing in DR. I probably have more family in Puerto Rico.
Oh, really?
That I actually do know. Yeah, and, you know, it's. I always say I have 3 homes. Bronx, DR, Puerto Rico.
Yeah. What are the origins of the music? I was told a story, I don't know if it's true or not, that bachata was like the hood romantico, like it was like the, you know, that was like the neighborhood music for a long time. It wasn't mainstream.
Let me tell you, Playboy, it had a bad rep.
Really? Why?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it comes from, like, I'm talking about, like, early 80s, like, cabarets. Like, you know, prostitutes.
Oh, okay.
You know, that type of life. And
street sex, love,
like,
that kind of
if
thing.
you liked bachata and you would actually admit that around that time, like, they would probably crucify you.
Word.
Yeah, it was that bad. So when I was
Because
born
it's
and
like
raised.
what, like sucia
Yeah,
music.
and
like,
it wasn't necessarily like the lyrics. It was just like the reputation, because of where this music was really being consumed. And when I started doing music, I'm born and raised in the Bronx. I'm listening to hip hop, salsa, everything. I didn't really know this reputation. Had I been probably born and raised in DR, I probably would have neglected that. But I didn't have no knowledge of this. So I was already too in love with the actual culture of bachata. So we started just doing music. And when I went to DR, for the first time at the age of 18. I'm bragging to people out there like, yo, I do bachata. And they're like, oh,
why?
that's corny, And I'm like, nah. So I understood that the problem was really the image, the concept behind the bachata product. And it took us a lot of years to get people accustomed and to understand that the problem is not the music, is the representation. If people could connect with you on a different level, like he speaks like me, he talks like me, he's cool like me, they're gonna begin to, accept the music. And we also changed a lot of things in bachata, like we started doing fusion.
Like the Drake joint, that audio
Yeah, but
joint.
before that, we were doing like other things that, was like the introduction, because the whole Drake, Usher, that was like years after, like a decade after.
That
like
was 4 years ago, right?
Yeah, like when we started doing the first records in Aventura, like the slogans alone were like something that was very unique. Like, let me find out, like this is the way people speak in the Bronx.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit overwhelming to like those fans of bachata. They actually used to tell us like, this is not real bachata. So it took us a lot of years.
Audio. You were at the pinnacle. Drake is at the pinnacle. You guys are, scorching, right? And y'all come together and make a record that shut Uptown down. Real talk, it was like the only record people was playing for a minute. How did this audio record come together?
It all started with that one record that he put out where he mentioned Aventura.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, about the kids. So I reached out. Getting them vocals was a mission, I ain't gonna lie. Like Drake was a busy guy, he still is. And he finally hits me up. He's like, yo, I'm ready to do this, but I wanna sing Spanish.
Ooh.
And I was like, okay, we can make that happen. So it was December 25th, 2014. And I flew out to Canada. He was like super dope, like it was a great session, and it felt special. It's one of those records that when you're producing, it's like, oh, this is gonna be great. And it's gonna be great only if he blesses the record, because it wasn't like a song that, anyone could just get on. It was just a song, constructed specifically for Drake. And
it had elements of things that was popping at the time. It has elements of his music, but
right.
You would still consider this like a bachata fusion, though.
Yeah, absolutely,
sure.
absolutely, yeah.
And then you've also collabed with Usher. Would you consider the Usher record also like a bachata fusion?
Yeah. When I collaborate with those type of artists that, they don't do like Latin music, like I wanted to have like an element that they can kind of like relate to. And the Usher record is more like an R&B fusion.
Yeah.
In the album, Golden, I have a few joints that are not even bachatas that you could probably, you could listen to like, okay, this is straight up hip hop. There's no fusion.
I'm glad you know about the girl Jessie Reyes. She's phenomenal, bro. You got Swiss Beats on the album, so we know them drums are gonna be fire.
Yeah.
BX all day.
Yeah.
Nicky Jam, Daddy Yankee, that's a straight, is that
reggaeton? That's reggaeton.
Straight up.
Yeah.
And then you got Juan Luis Guerra.
Yeah.
So you got fire on here once again. And this is your first album in what, 3 years?
Yeah, I dropped Formula Volume 2, 2014.
Does the music just stay around that long where because I don't feel like you've been gone that long. It doesn't feel like that.
That's what everyone tells me, but I really took my time with this album. I think people kind of like needed a break, to be honest with you, because it was just getting like, I'm gonna say this in Spanish, I'll try to translate it. Todo en exceso hace daño, which is like even sounding a lot.
It's excessive.
In my opinion. Yeah, exactly. And it just got to a point where like I needed people to desintoxicarse, and I kind of like was ready with the album about 7 months ago. And here it is, like I just feel like it's time for me to just come back. I miss it.
How'd this record with Swizz come together? Y'all both from the Bronx, so that was an easy one. How y'all know each other though?
I met Swizz at 40/40. And Hov introduced me to him, you know, and he put in a great word, you know. He was like, hey, this dude right here is like equivalent to Justin Timberlake since he came out of a group, you know. We exchanged numbers and we just got in the lab and we created this together.
And what's this about, Premio?
Premio's like a record where I'm telling this girl, I'm in this award show. They're paying homage to you.
Yeah.
I'm nominated with a bunch of dudes to get your heart, but I already won.
Yo, Jessie Reyes, we love her here at Apple Music. A Colombian young girl from Toronto, writing, producing, you know, playing. She plays a guitar, amazing voice. How'd you guys come together on this Un Vuelo a la?
Yeah, a friend of mine, he sends me a record. I liked the record, but I didn't even know the original. So I went, the first one I heard was a cover. Someone put me on like, nah, but this is the original. When I heard the original and I heard this girl's vocals, I was like, I became a fan. And I'm the type of person that I can work with a Drake, I can work with an Usher, but I can also work with someone that's up and coming if I think they dope. You know, I invited her to my album. We did this joint together because she's also a writer. The theme of the record is, you know, a couple exes that are telling each other off. Why didn't it work out from different perspectives? So I'm obviously telling her, you f***ed up, you crazy. And she's telling me, nah, you crazy. You know, you put demons in my head, you know, and a bunch of like deep, and it's a dope record. And it's not bachata.
When could we look for an announcement on a Romeo Santos tour?
I usually do tours 3 months after the album drops. I know most artists, like when they drop an album, they're like already announcing their tour, but I just feel like I need people to digest the music, like, to kind of like really, even though social media has changed that a lot, you know, you drop an album today and like a day later, like everyone knows the entire album. But I'm a little old school in that. I kind of want people to really know every single song, like from beginning to end, elements, like little sounds here and there. And
you are also CEO of Rock Nation Latino, so you are currently responsible alongside OG Juan and Hove and the people up there, shout to Desiree, for going out and signing new acts in Latin America. How's that going?
It's an incredible experience. You know, what I wanted to do was, you know, sign artists that just have a special gift. It's a lot more difficult to sign artists that are not really already known. But I feel like the path is like a little longer, but when we make it, it's gonna be real.
So you're taking your time.
It's unpredictable. I'm personally trying to like do things fast, but what I mean is that I know that to develop a new artist is a lot more difficult than someone that you already know. You know,
already
you
got
just
a
gotta,
buzz out there.
You know, and my responsibility here is just trying to guide these artists, you know, musically speaking. You know, we have a big team in Rock Nation, you know, and they're pretty much doing a great job. You know, I'm just trying to provide my experience, you know, like musically speaking, you know, like I sit down with these artists, I'm like, play me your music, you know, this is a dope record. I think you should mess with the beat a little bit more. I try to link them up with, you know, producers. Sometimes I'm involved producing as well. I got this girl, Karen Rodriguez, we signed. So, you know, I would like to also get more involved with some of the artists. It's hard for me because I'm also working with my project, but just trying to help these guys, you know, super talented people.
Would you say reggaeton is back?
Absolutely.
To the mainstream?
Is that his prime once again?
Because you had Despacito, which you just knocked out of the #1 spot with your Imitadora record. But you have Bad Bunny popping out here.
But Bad Bunny's more trap.
Is that considered
but
trap?
He does reggaeton.
I heard him on some reggaetons too.
Yeah.
But I feel like that sound is back. That Spanish Caribbean sound is back heavy.
Yeah, urban is like right now ruling. Like it's like strong, you know. And I didn't really do it trying to like, you know, be down with urban because it's kind of organic for me. Like
you've always done it though.
Yeah. Like I did like 2 massive records. I did one in Aventura featuring Don Omar Ejijo, which is like a classic. People were demanding another reggaeton, so I think I wanted to do it big. And Daddy Yankee, Nicky,
the OG, right?
Yeah.
The king of bachata. Do you like that title?
I mean, I've pretty much ran with that. Like I
it,
proclaim
right?
myself as well, and it's a big responsibility.
That's
but
what I'm saying.
Once you've been running with that for so long, you can't drop an album like I'm no longer the king, you know? So
nah, you gotta stay with it.
Yeah,
like, you gotta hold that crown.
Yeah.
But when do you lay the crown down? Will there ever be a point where you're like, all right, who's the next king?
I mean, I didn't come to this industry and to be number two. You know, I want to be number one. And even if people decide that they want to rock with something else, my responsibility is to work to be number one. And I take this very serious. I'm very passionate.
But you sound like a rapper though. Like that's rapper swag, right? Like that's hip hop swag though.
I mean, if people proclaim, you know, if they say, hey, you're the king, I got to do it.